Hello guys, welcome back. Sethona here. This is the Daily Grind. This is Saint Seiya Tencent, and we are still celebrating the first anniversary of the game. This is going to be a whole month celebration. Good news, Jamir tournament is coming finally to the Awakening version starting next week. Um, in fact, the registration period was yesterday on Sunday, and it's about to end. But if you didn't register for the Jamir tournament still, that was some 16, 17,000 people across all servers. That's the beauty of Jamir tournament. That's an inter-server, inter-operating system tournament to see who is the guy with the deepest wallet among all the servers in the game. Anyways, that's for our version. That's starting this week, and you can go check that out in this screen, the PvP screen. They have the Jamir Championship. Oh, and I think this one is starting now today. This is the Chinese version. Oh, it's not up yet. Oh, 30 diamonds just from participating. I registered too. For this one, you have to get to Gold League 4 in Galaxy Duel to be able to qualify to the qualifiers for Jamir tournament. So we are going to be recording Jamir tournament from the Chinese server and from the Awakening server. Sorry, at the same time. But today's video is about the new crafting system available for the Chinese server. This is eventually going to go out for Awakening 2, and it's pretty neat. It's limited on who can get it, but it's basically this: a repair armor menu on the left side of the screen, and the Pandora box part salvage on the right. This also replaces the loading screen for this. This is the temple worship, and this is the divine favor menu. On the left side, the temple that we already have in Awakening, so keep working on that. I have several at rank 3 now here on the Chinese server. Anyways, so the crafting system. Every day you're going to get 2 silver Pandora boxes for free, one every 12 hours. And I've already claimed all my Pandora boxes for today, and I forgot to record. That's why I stopped working on this. And once you claim them from here on the timer, they get added to the bottom of the screen, and then you can click on the box and it will give you 5 items. The golden one, you get 1 for free per reset, and you can keep buying them, but they are pretty expensive. Like, I haven't dared to try if this is an escalating price, but the starting price point is 300 diamonds, so that's for whales only, pretty much. So I prefer to keep storing materials for the future. Now, here's what you're going to do. You get materials, and then you get to equip stuff that you have already crafted. Like, for example, this. I can craft this. Yeah, it's just 7 I need. And you need a certain amount of materials. That's germanium, oricalcium, or stardust, and adamantite to craft a cloth, to repair a cloth. And you need a cloth piece that you get from the Pandora boxes. The silver Pandora box gives you materials for armor sets class B and A. And the golden Pandora box gives you entire pieces for either B armor, A armor, or S grade armor, and in the future also for the gods. But currently that's limited to just a few characters. So I'm going to craft the gauntlet for Perseus Algol, and it's going to take 18 hours to finish now that I completed the pieces. You can accelerate this using diamonds too, but that is also pretty pricey. And the thing is, you cannot craft anymore until you finish building. So the gauntlet is crafting, but I had already crafted his shield. And apparently, to finish equipping this, or it's a several step craft, you also need fragments for this, and it's just 20, so that's fine. So let me check. Ah, yeah, it's to equip only. That's 5% Cosmo attack, and the legging gives 3 speed, and the gauntlet is 23 Cosmo attack, not Cosmo damage. And they keep giving me pieces for Dante Kerberos, but I don't plan. Oh, they gave me the legging now. I don't plan on craft anything for him. So if I get the pieces, when you finish equipping everything on the character, then he gets an upgrade. That particular character gets an upgrade to one of his skills. In the case of Kerberos, that's an even bigger speed reduction than he already has on his normal skills. But he's such a crappy character that maybe if he reduced the speed of the enemy team by half, that will make him just barely viable. Like, no one has ever used this guy. I just build him, equip him, awaken 8 Sense because I'm a fan of the character. He's one of the quirky Silver Saints that tried to kidnap Athena before they knew that the Pope was Saga in disguise. Anyways, so yeah, I regret gearing this guy, and I also geared Al Gold because I'm a fan. Because his power set is pretty cool, both in the anime and in the game. This is an often overlooked unit because he's not very big damage, but he's a very big control freak. He can petrify the entire enemy team if they are not careful, especially now that Gold Hyoga is out. This guy could maybe shoot to top end again. He was top PvP for a very brief period of time, but the thing is, he has to take damage, and any attack that hits him has to take at least 20% health off. So that's 1/5 of his HP bar has to be taken away before he counter strikes with a petrification attack. But his upgrade now reduces that amount to just a 10% health, so it's going to be very easy now to set up teams with Perseus Algo. And well, that's the crafting and equipping. Equipping requires experience points, so this is all a money sink for players that have already been around since launch, that have been around for 1 year, that have most of their characters at level 80, full 8 sense, almost perfect combos and stuff. And the last part of this menu is that any part that you don't like, you can sell for Stardust, and with the Stardust you can buy stuff that you actually want. So let's go sell, for example, this Mermaid Thetis breastplate. Nobody uses her. I know some people see potential into her skill set. Trust me, she doesn't work. If you're going to waste resources on an A rank character, I would choose Katia instead. The Crown Saint. Oh, so I have 1,000 Stardust now. Well, still not enough. I think this costs 20 diamonds to reset the store. The neat part is that you can sometimes get fragments for one of the gold saints that is featured in the crafting list. each one of these. As you can see, I already have the leggings for Milo, and I'm still waiting on pieces for these other guys who get basically the one who got the best deal out of this crafting stuff was Shura, because now his Excalibur attack can kick somebody out of the June chain, and that stops charging moon shields, and of course the target gets the full attack of the Excalibur, and it also gets a nice critical damage, permanent critical damage increase that is stackable for the rest of the round, or the rest of the fight, to be more precise. So yeah, I'm really waiting on pieces for for Shura. Everybody else, Milo gets his basic turned into a semi AoE because now it hits 3 targets instead of one, and it has a small chance. Well, not a small chance. It still works like it does currently, but now he gets a free triple strike on his basic. That's also a very good deal for him, but still nowhere near the levels he was at the beginning of the game. And Camus, if he gets all the pieces repaired for his cloth, his passive gives the opposing team ice marks every time an enemy takes a turn, like guaranteed a single mark, I think, or a chance of 2 marks, just like his passive. But now it's on the enemy team when they take a turn, and not only when he gets hit. So that enables him to build marks for his Aurora execution. So that's a pretty nice upgrade for him. And Virgo Shaka is still useless, but at least he's getting some love, and that's cool, because for some people, like when you start the game, you either start getting a lot of gold saints right away, or you just get one of these lesser characters in game, because Shaka is one of the most popular saints from the anime, and it's kind of jarring that his original flavor version is so next to useless. Anyways, but it's cool that he's getting some love, because some people only have this Shaka and they have to make do with what they get. Well, that's the crafting system, and now I have to wait 18 more hours until I can gear this on Algol. So let's use the remaining time talking about Araya Shiki, the new Virgo Saint that was released just this week on Awakening. A lot of people are finding out that he doesn't do enough damage, so they don't buy the hype that many us Chinese server players were making public, that this is a very good unit. It is, but since GT Arcade decided for whatever boneheaded reason to release the characters out of order and not give you enough time to farm stuff in between banners, like they could have started with all 12 saints, all 12 gold saints available for advanced summoning, and they will have saved like a month and a half of banners. Like if the plan was to catch up with the Chinese version as soon as possible, there were many better options of doing that. But anyways, they decided to do that. And the thing is this. By the time Araya Shiki was released in the Chinese server, this Cosmos, the Rosary, had already been released for one of the previous saints. And this is why your Shaka seems like he cannot outdamage Saga right away. Rosary gives Cosmo attack percentage and Cosmo attack block in whole numbers. That's a 630 Cosmo attack that you're going to get just from the Rosaries. And then That's a almost 30% increase in your Cosmo attack just from equipping this at double S rank and upgraded to plus 10. But if you have all three rosaries, doesn't matter if they are the same rank, but if you equip three rosaries, you get a 5% increase in Cosmo damage. So you can see that this is already very good. You could live with just the rosaries alone. But then there is this, the hummingbird that was released also before Araya Shiki came out too. This one gives you also Cosmo attack, and that's another 700 Cosmo attack points. So if you are keeping track with the rosaries and three of these, that's already 1000 Cosmo attack just from the bonuses from Cosmos without any substat modifier. And this also gives you 5% when you equip three hummingbirds. You get a 5% Cosmo damage increase. Along with the rosaries, that's 10% Cosmo damage increase just from Cosmos before substats. So what do you have to do to maximize your Araya Shiki? I haven't had a lot of luck with my Cosmos in this version because they are very, very hard to come by in a useful form. Well, you either aim for even more Cosmo attack, so you get 2 or 3 substats of Cosmo attack, maybe one substat of HP or physical defense, because Araya Shiki is very, very squishy, and you have to get speed, lots of speed. Ideally, every Cosmos should have at least one speed bar. As you can see, I only have it on very few of these. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 90 speed from the hummingbirds, and also a speed here on the Elfwing. And this was the nail in the coffin. When Araya Shiki launched, this was one of the Cosmos that was released around the Araya Shiki launch. And what Wind Elf does is that for every enemy that you hit with an attack, this is especially good for Cosmo attackers because it only gives Cosmo attack that have an AoE attack precisely. For every enemy that you hit on the same round, on the same action, you get a 4% Cosmo damage increase, and you get a permanent 10% increase in Cosmo attack. So if you know your math, when you start a round with Araya Shiki and you hit all 6 enemies, you get a 24% Cosmo damage increase that is going to last for 3 rounds afterwards. So, for example, I already have 41% Cosmo attack here, and a 25% Cosmo damage. So if I hit a single enemy team with my AoE when the round starts, and this is why you have to bring your Shaka above speed 650, well, 620, but ideally that will be closer to 650, because Kiki and Luna are way, way faster, and what you're trying to do is to make Shaka almost as fast as Luna, and they have to be near 700 speed, or else you run into this guy, Divine Pegasus, and then you get killed. And well, that's a team without a Kiki, so he didn't get the energy to use his ultimate at the beginning of the fight. But this is what you want to do. You want your Shaka to get a double turn and to go before everybody else on the enemy team, preferably. And this has been the arms race in the Chinese server. You want your Araya Shiki to go before their June if they have her. You want your Araya Shiki to go before their Daedalus if they are using that. And since the metagame here is speed, all of these guys that you're seeing on the enemy team, these are very badly built, but top end teams are usually above 680 speed for all the fast characters, and the medium speed ones are in between 500 and 600 speed, and the slow ones are above 450 speed unless they are Pisces, Evil Saga, or Shun. Those are usually left at around 100 something speed because you want them to go last in your team, but you also want them faster than the slowest characters on the enemy team so you can focus fire. Like I've done this feature a lot of times, but apparently people don't get tired of watching Araya Shiki just clapping his hands literally and making the enemy team go away. Now, the training hall just resetted, so I don't get a lot of good opponents right now that I cannot kill on the on more than one turn. But this is pretty much it. This is the team. That's Kiki, Luna, and Alaya, and the remaining three can be whoever you want. If you think you're going to need healing, then you equip Marine or Jamir. If you think you need some sort of control, then you can slot Moses, Geki, and Shun, and you can pretty much tie whoever is left alive on the enemy team. Now, since Araya Shiki doesn't have his perfect cosmos over at the Awakening version, chances are that you're not going to one-shot the entire teams on your opening salvo. But you're going to bring them to less than half health, and that really makes some players nervous. So you get that psychological advantage, especially if after this nasty double AoE, and sometimes it's a triple one, because that's what Luna does. He gives you 2 turns with the option at 5% of giving you a third free action. So if anybody is left alive after you finish with that, then just getting stunned repeatedly, or getting your good cards stunned with Geki, Moses, or just being downright nasty and slot Misty right behind Shaka, because Misty is also very fast, and start dropping barriers on your own team, it makes most people quit, really. And this was pretty much the reigning team composition here at the Chinese server. And that's the flexibility that Alaya gives you, because if the enemy team tries to retaliate with debuffs, they only make your Alaya bigger, especially if it has a high skill level on his passive, because at maximum level he can stack 9 buffs, and each buff that he gets from cleansing your team gives him 5% Cosmo damage. So at max skill level, if the enemy tries to retaliate, for example, with a very fast normal Shaka that silences your team, and he's faster than your Araya Shiki for some reason, as long as Araya Shiki himself is not stunned or trapped into the golden triangle, he can clear himself of silence at the start of his turn for free. And he will convert that at maximum skill level. If he only gets 1 debuff, That's a 5% Cosmo damage increase. But he can stack that permanently for up to 9 times. So he can potentially, in the very first round, even if he's just a bit slower and his whole team gets debuffed, if he clears 9 debuffs at the same time, he gets a 45% Cosmo damage increase for free. That's the brokenness of this character. That's how he came to dominate the meta. Because the only way of dealing with Araya Shiki is stunning him or tying him up with Shun. And Shun is much slower than Araya Shiki. So that's how the speed meta came to be. Everybody started racing to have the fastest Araya Shiki possible. And then later on, with different units that were released, everybody just kept trying to be faster and faster, because you have to be faster than this guy. Until eventually, Divine Cloth Pegasus, the fastest character in the game, was released, and he brought the speed race above 700 speed. So right now, Shaka is in a very tight spot in the Chinese version, because Hades, Poseidon, Divine Iki, and Divine Pegasus can go before him, because if you try to add 3 speed substats to his Cosmos, then he gets very squishy, or he doesn't get enough damage output to keep competing. So Alaya has hit his ceiling in that regard. Well, I'm going to stop the video right here. Sorry. And I certainly hope that you are liking the content I'm putting out. So stay tuned for this week, because I'm going to start recording and uploading Jamir Championship fights. So remember to leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. Click on the little bell so you get a notification when I upload new content. And we'll be seeing each other the next time. In the meantime, keep grinding on.